Hi everyone, welcome back to Brome Bird News. So the other day I was making a cup of tea in my kitchen when all of a sudden I see this new bird, something that I have never seen in my backyard before. It was just drinking water out of one of my bird baths. Unfortunately, by the time I came back with my binoculars, the bird was gone and I was very sad. So then I thought, what if I offer a different kind of menu to birds that are maybe migrating through my backyard, or maybe birds who are not really interested in grains? Maybe that bird would have stayed longer and I would have had a chance to look at it better. Then I also remember that we received several pictures of people placing mealworms in squirrel buster feeders, and ever since then I actually wanted to try it out myself. So off I went online and I found these delicious looking mealworms. But I also found something else. I found suet pellets, and then I remembered, the suet feeder that I put up a few weeks ago wasn't that popular. I don't know why. It's still there and I'll leave it there for a while, but I am definitely trying something new. Here's what I found. So here, suet pellets with mealworms. And then there is suet pellets with insects. And suet pellets with berries. Certainly very colorful. I am actually going to place all these feeders all over my backyard, away from my regular grain feeders, just to experiment and to see what kind of birds this will attract. So don't be afraid to change your menu regularly and to bring in something new and different. You'll have fun, I'm sure of that. Hello, David. Linda Greswell from Ontario writes to you. I have a friend, Emily, who had a very strange experience with the Northern Cardinal this summer. The birds started pecking their windows in June, and that continued for weeks. The strange thing was that it would start pecking at dawn, and then it would only stop when they would lift all the blinds. Then it would follow them from one room to another. It wouldn't come on rainy days. All the feeders were full. There didn't seem to be any reflections on the windows that he was peeping into. Emily also likes to think that perhaps it's a loved one that's passed on who is now checking up on them. What do you think, David?
Hi, Linda. I can only come up with two reasons as to why an adult Northern Cardinal would make the effort to peck on someone's window. The first is the obvious, that is the bird seeing its reflection in the glass and treating it like a territorial intruder. This is a very common behavior in the breeding season and is usually driven by hormones. The second one is less frequent and more subtle. This is where a songbird actually makes an effort to tap on the window glass to get the attention of the homeowner to get out there and refill the feeders. Since you did say the feeder was filled, perhaps we can rule out that reason. However, I'm not convinced that we can dismiss the territorial reflection phenomenon, partly because you did say the bird in question does not visit the windows when it was raining. After all, the bird is more likely to see its reflection on a bright sunny day. And keep in mind that just because you may not be able to see your reflection on a given day, it does not mean that a bird cannot. We're still learning the limits of avian vision. As for the reincarnation idea, I'm personally not a believer in this concept, but if I was, I can think of worse choices to come back as than a beautiful Northern Cardinal.
So, jazz lovers and musicians used to be referred to as cats, but a new study shows that they should actually be referred to as birds. A study involving the Pied Butcherbird of Australia discovered that just like jazz musicians, the bird will take all the elements of its song and then change them around at will. Apparently, it will continue to do so until it finds the right notes. It will then sing the song and then will start improvising right away. If there is another butcherbird in the area, it will also start singing along with its own variation of the tune. This is the first time such behavior has been discovered in a species outside of humans, and this is what it sounds like. A couple of follow-ups here. Do you remember in the spring we talked about Hutton's Shearwaters that breed in New Zealand and about how the whole town ran a blackout program to make sure these birds would not get disoriented and crash? Well, in Hawaii, there's a whole air base that's right now operating under blackout conditions to accommodate the Newell's Shearwater. Isn't that nice of them? And then, do you remember our Red Footed Booby that ended up on shores of Sussex in England? Well, it's been touch and go for the bird, but finally it's stabilized, it's eating, and it's gaining weight. Once it's completely recovered, there is a talk of airlifting it to the Cape Verde Islands or the Caribbean. So the race is on for Canada's national bird. It's down to 5 finalists, and the final result will be announced on the 16th of November. Dr. Bird has just participated in the national panel discussion in Ottawa. So here are the 5 finalists: the Canada goose, the common loon, the black-capped chickadee, the grey jay, and the snowy owl. Well, I picked the snowy owl and Dr. Bird chose the grey jay. Another thing that I want to bring your attention to, there are over 1 billion fewer birds in the sky than there were only 40 years ago. How outrageous. I think it's time for stricter laws and regulations to preserve nature and to bring back all the habitats that we destroyed. Birds are the barometer of our planet's health. Alabama's coast is very popular with birds. 420 species of birds can be found there, and this is where the Alabama Coastal Bird Fest will take place from the 5th to the 8th of October in Fairhope. If you miss your hummingbirds or if you want to see more of them, you will definitely find them there. Here's one of the locations for my specialty feeders. I actually keep a feeder here during the winter, again to accommodate all the birds that don't like to come too close to my house. But let's talk about winner's circle right now. Thank you all for your participation in the previous episode. It was a lot of fun. And now let's check out the top 5 on this episode. Well, we don't have a tie this week. The winner is Peg Runyon. Congratulations, Peg. We're sending you this type of feeder. Please try it out with mealworms and see how it works for you. Have fun. I'll see you all next week.